A very good afternoon to you. I also welcome a large contingent of the Japanese people with us and anybody coming from abroad. I look after one of the largest housing programs in affordable housing, perhaps anywhere in the world, and I am immensely proud doing so. I represent the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, which is a ministry which is looking at the urban transformation India is witnessing in a very, very big way. We do run a large number of schemes, largely in the urban areas, with regard to housing, with regard to the metro construction, with regard to the smart cities, the Swachh Bharat campaign, which is for the Clean India campaign. Also, a large amount of infrastructure work that goes on in sewage, in disposal of the pipelines. So these are a couple of things that come to my mind immediately. We also look at housing policies, particularly maybe the rental ones, how India is moving ahead, the entire issues relating to the urban territories, the Delhi area. So it's a vast expanse, and you will appreciate that India is certainly urbanizing at a very, very rapid pace. So the ministry, apart from these 7 missions, is also looking at urban mobility in a very big way. So all in all, I am just convinced that this is a very appropriate platform for the ministry to engage with the Ministry of Steel and people dealing in steel in particular, because we are, as a ministry, a very large consumer of steel also. However, my presentation, because I look after affordable housing program, will focus largely on the requirements in the housing sector with regard to steel, cement, so on and so forth. Nonetheless, there is a huge requirement and a necessity in the metro development that we do, and steel is certainly one of the very important consumptions. Also, in the scheme called as Amrit, where we look after the infrastructure planning in terms of sewage and in terms of laying down pipes, so on and so forth. The affordable housing program covers almost like 4,500 Indian cities. It's almost in every level of municipal governance. We intend to provide housing to all the Indians eligible in the urban areas, apart from the fact that this is also being done in the rural areas, which is run by the Ministry of Rural Development. 5 crore was the overall projection for the Ministry of Rural and Urban Affairs put together. We have estimated that the total demand would be 1.12 crore houses. This would translate into 11.2 million, if we would say. But this is not a target. This is something that is dynamic. This is something that can change over a period, because since the urban areas is growing, since migrations are happening, since new people get and become eligible over a period of time, we really feel that this could probably not be the final figure, but let's put it at around 1.12 as of now as being the validated demand. So the expanse is huge. We provide a house is deemed complete only if it has water connection, only if it has electricity, only if it has kitchen and basic facilities. This has been the journey of housing in affordable housing sector so far. We are very close to the intended target that, or the projection that was set forth. This is at 1.03 crores, which is almost just about 9 lakhs less than the intended target which we planned to achieve by the year 2022. So I'm glad to share this news that we are well ahead of target. Probably in the month of March, April itself, we would have reached the projections, plus a certain amount of demand that may originate from time to time. But that wouldn't probably mean that this is the demand which we've already met. This is what we've sanctioned as Government of India. This is in the spirit of cooperative federalism. There are 3 very important partners to this scheme. That is the Government of India. Second is the state and the UTs. And the third is the component of the beneficiary, because the beneficiary does contribute in a big way in these schemes. And these 3 form a large whole, and also the municipal authorities. In certain cases, we also have affordable housing in partnership policy where private partners do also contribute and, towards the working of the mission. They may come in as partners, they may come as contracting partners to the state government as well. The overall structure of the progress of the mission looks like this right now, that out of 112 crore, 1.3 crore is approved, as I discussed earlier. 62 lakh has been grounded as on date. And about 32 lakh houses have been completed. And the new technology, because we are not satisfied with just having the political will, the administrative will, and the financial arrangements, we do look into the fact, and we are very conscious of this reality, that if we wanted to house every Indian who is eligible by the year 2022, we need a very fast pace. And that is why we have embraced the new technologies, say, for example, the PMAY-Urban technology, Shirke technology, and we have a large number of Japanese companies which are working with us now in the affordable housing sector also, even though if it is in the private sector and also now in the government. The affordable housing in partnership has about 28 lakh houses. This will probably go higher. This is a figure which can be very relevant to you, because affordable housing in partnerships are generally houses which are G+3, G+4 and above, going up to G+40. And this is where a large amount of steel consumption would be taken up in terms of, necessities of building the house. Also, the other vertical of the credit-linked subsidy subvention is from largely the private sector, where a person who finds a house he wants to live in is just given a subvention in his or her own bank account. But this is also again made by the private sector. I do not recall of any other government scheme which encourages the private sector construction in such a big manner, because they make the house, the beneficiary goes and looks for it, the state does not intervene. So it's BBB, the banker, the builder, and the beneficiary. These three triangles are done, and the role of the banker is that we just pass on the money to the home loan account through a central nodal agency like the State Bank of India or HUDCO or National Housing Bank. The ISSR again is for the slum redevelopment. This has about 5 lakh cases as of now, and likely going to be much, much higher as we go along. These are three areas where consumption is on a very, very big scale. Having said that, I'll come to the beneficiary linked construction, which probably is the highest, because land as such is not that big a problem in north and east of India. Also that these are individual houses that people make there on their own. But these are not of a structure where steel is not required as an input, because even individual houses do require as much as any other house would. So this being the story, a large part of the whole gamut of things that we are doing is still unfolding. We see that in the years to come, this will grow, and about 2/3 of the PMAY scheme which is on the ground will need a lot of this consumption as well. Just to take you a bit of through the investment pattern, this probably would be one of those schemes which has consumed a huge capital input also, because apart from the fact that the Government of India itself is committed to giving 1.65 lakh crore on the basis of the sanctions which we've already done. Because if I'm to take the sanctions which are going to come in months, will probably be even higher. But putting in the beneficiary contribution and the contribution of the state, the overall requirement for this mission is 7 lakh crore. And out of which about 3.5 lakh crore is already on ground, because as I told you earlier, 62 lakh houses are being made as of today. This is one of those schemes which do not only provide housing, but also turns the Indian economy and contributes to the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister in a very, very significant manner. The 5 trillion economy that we aim to achieve will be fulfilled on account of schemes like this, and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, I'm very, very proud to say, that contributes to employment, contributes to steel consumption, contributes to cement contribution, and contributes to the growth of the nation in a very, very substantive manner. This is what must interest this august audience. This leads to security of tenure. These are schematic things. I really don't know how far it's relevant, but this has led to a situation where the lives have changed. We wanted to show you some movies, but we were not really sure whether an urban poor scheme would really interest you. But if it does, I'll invite you to look at the PMAY housing for all our website, and there are large number of them. But something that I really wanted to share with you, and you will be very happy, is that this scheme empowers the women in a very, very significant manner. The name of the house has to be in the name of the female beneficiary, or it has to be a joint property. So as we work towards housing, we also work towards women empowerment in a very, very comprehensive manner. And we have stories which have changed the lives of women, not only through ownership, but also because what she could do with the house, whether it was opening up a business of her own, whether it was that sense of security that comes to her with the house, so on. The estimated steel consumption, this should be like music to you. Estimated steel consumption per square meter of built-up area. This is what we have been able to calculate with the RCC frame in brick masonry, 34 kg monolith. So all in all, presently we require about 34.07 lakh metric tons. And when we go up till 32 lakhs, so the overall requirement would be 157.7 lakh metric ton. This is what we will require, and this has been derived on the basis of certain formulas that the BMTPC, which is an organization which works very closely with us for promotion of technology, has been able to calculate. And we did have occasions when we were talking to the Tata Steel Group also to just cross-check. But given a 10% variance rate here and there in calculation, this is the requirement that PMAY would have, and a large part of it would already be on place. So I can share this presentation also if you find this interesting. The CPWD is another organization which is a part of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. You are aware that this is the most important body so insofar as the central government is concerned in terms of implementation of large schemes, large projects, whether it is the making of All Indian Institute, whether it is making of huge government buildings, whether it is buildings of Education Department, Ministry of Home. So this is the body that really does it for us, and they have brought in a large number of changes, and iconic structures have been made by them. They do deal with a lot of steel, and they are the body where the new technology is also being taken up in a big way. The construction technology requirements, you may be already aware that we need to fulfill the gap that whatever we have in terms of housing to be able to cater to the demands, and I hope that the steel industry may consider a certain policy which is skewed in favor of the steel industries offering something for affordable housing. What I mean to say is that in the income tax laws, there was a certain concession that was brought about for affordable housing because we know it is for the urban poor. Similarly, for steel bought for PMAY could be shared cheaper than the steel sold normally, because you gain in volumes because the volume is there, but you do not suffer a loss because the volumes will be there, because otherwise it gets split. So that is one thing that you can look after. And also the kind of steel maybe which is more durable, offers more concrete solutions to the people, those who need it most. You will be very happy to know that we did a construction technology year. Honorable Prime Minister inaugurated a Global Housing Technology Challenge 3rd and 4th of March last year. Because of this, we could bring in about 54 technologies from the world over, which were not in existence earlier. I am happy to share that a large participation did come from countries like US, Singapore, Korea, and Japan, and some are really working with us. Then we went in for a lighthouse project, which is likely to be inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister anytime soon, whenever we get the time. We have formulated incubation centers where new technologies will be promoted, and obviously these will be tested. We have an event coming up by the Indian Housing Technology Mela in March 2020. I am sure we will be requesting the Steel Ministry to partner with us, and through them with you people also, because steel will be an item which we would want to show how it helps in making the houses feasible. These are some of the challenges faced. I know light gauge steel structures presently in market not yet found acceptance in the housing construction. So this is something that we are battling for. and steel-based technologies may eventually provide a lot of solutions to our housing needs as we go along. And the Indian standard and for use of cold form light gauge steel brought out by BIS is outdated and needs revision. But these are things we are taking care with the Ministry of Steel anyways. These are some houses I wanted to show you, and you can see a large part of steel in that. Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Orissa, Kerala. This is a bouquet of houses from all over the country, and you can see how it's making a difference to the people, those who are going to stay in this. These are some shots we've taken from the metro works which are going on, and this may be of some interest of how India is changing and it requires steel. Thank you all for hearing me out. Have a good day.